Unleash your true potential with the Metamorphosis Unleashed podcast, your guide to personal growth, health, and wellness. At the Metamorphosis Unleashed, your transformation takes center stage. Hosted by Coach Walter and Coach Dale, this podcast is your go-to source for practical tips, expert insights, and inspiring stories. Tune in for honest conversations, actionable strategies, and a supportive community that's all about growth and positivity. Key topics: fitness, nutrition, mental health, overcoming fitness roadblocks. We also feature interviews with clients, industry professionals, and thought leaders, delivering real advice and relatable experiences. Metamorphosis Unleashed, your guide to unleashing your true potential.
It's so fancy, all the swirls and
I know.
It makes me smile every time. We're gonna have music on the next one. We got it. I just had to find the right to tick the butt tots and stuff, and
Yeah, it's cool.
Anyway, how you doing?
Cool. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm doing okay. I'm good.
This rain, it sucks.
It's terrible.
I hate it, but we need it. But
it rained all day yesterday. All day.
Yesterday it rained. I worked out yesterday. I had a good workout yesterday. Me and my buddy Angelo, we worked out. We had a good workout yesterday. We did about 20 sets on chest. We did flat bench up to like 70%. And then we did floor press. And then we did some cables.
I'm a little jealous.
Why?
Because you have a partner. A dedicated partner.
Yeah, well, you better call Val and say, Val, what you doing? Where you at?
How often do you have to call Angelo?
I don't.
Exactly. There's a difference.
There is.
Commitment is a big thing. It's a big difference.
I certainly agree. We met in a certain place, and now, us training together is like almost therapeutic.
Yeah.
Right. Because we can talk about stuff and
have your little therapies.
Yeah, I think it's important to have someone that you can talk to who can tell you you're full of shit, or tell you, okay, she's full of shit, or whatever the case may be. I think it's important that you got that, because if you don't, it makes the workout long.
It makes it hard. Long.
And it definitely makes it hard.
It does. It
definitely makes it hard.
But that's when you have to just self-determination is what has to kick in at that point.
Exactly.
I get it.
But I did go to the beach on Friday.
You did?
It was so hot, 90 degrees.
You didn't even call me. You
I didn't. I was by myself. You know what? I loved it. I was there. And then I went into the little, it's called tea and spice, or spice and tea.
Mm-hmm.
Go in, they make all the teas and stuff, but they also make the spices. So they had ghost pepper sea salt. They had scorpion pepper sea salt.
No.
And Cajun spicy sea salt.
No.
And garlic lemon lime rub sea salt.
I can probably do that one.
Let me tell you something right now. I put a little sprinkle of that little ghost pepper in my eggs this morning. Woo! It was so good.
Oh no, not with all that. No.
Oh look, kick you right in the mouth.
I know it did. My spice tolerance is very low. I can't do it. My lips start to numb.
Yeah.
That's with cayenne pepper. So I know I can't do
that's the weak pepper. That's the weak one.
Oh, okay.
That's the weak one. We can get that to babies in their milk. That's the weak one.
Well, that's messed up. Well, I have never been one who's been able to tolerate spice.
Man.
Once it starts to burn my lips and all, I
need my nose to be running real good. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm done. I can't. I can't manage it.
So
Y'all can have that.
In my ground turkey right now, it's in there. I mixed it up last. I didn't cook it yet. I wanted to get in there good, so when I cook it tonight.
What's going to be in there?
Oh, meal prep this week. For the win! For the win!
After you cook it, every day that it sits, it's going to get hotter.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, no. Mm-mm. Well, now you know.
Then
Don't put any of that stuff on
when I come down there for the book club.
Don't do that.
And then I like jerk seasoning too. Give me some good jerk sauce. That was good. Yeah, that's that good stuff right there. You know, that studies show that the higher tolerance you have for spicy food, the higher testosterone you have in your. Yep.
There you go.
Yep. So
I'm all girl.
Hey, good. I'm glad. So yeah, but that was the that's what I did. What else did I do this weekend? I may or may not have bought a couple pair of shoes. May or may not. I went to the outlet. I may or may not have bought a couple pair of shoes.
Just a couple?
Just 2 pair.
You're as bad as I am. You just bought 4 pair. What are you talking about?
They're the right color. One's the Metcon 6 Freeze. They're white with the highlighter on the bottom.
Yeah.
And then I got a pair of the Metcon 9s. They're black. Oh, I can show you because I'm wearing them. Let's see. Look, see the dark.
Oh, those are cute. Yeah, I like those.
They match the logo. They
do.
See.
Actually, yeah. I have my shirt packed for today, but as you can see.
So even when I go to the meet, it matches my insignia on the singlet. So everything flows.
Everything flows.
You coordinate.
Nice.
Coordinate.
Nice. What a way to represent.
Right? What else did we do this weekend? Nothing. Honestly, nothing. I ain't got too much planned for the day other than work. And, I got this morning early. I was up at 3:05. I was on a spin bike at 3:10. I spun with the group in England. That was kind of cool. Did a spin class. And then that was it.
Friday, it was really nice Friday, but I didn't go out because I was waiting for somebody to call me to say, hey, I'm coming down.
Why didn't you call me?
Didn't get that. Huh?
Why didn't you call me?
Because I figured you didn't want to hear from anybody, so I left you alone. See, I'm on that fence.
You can always call me, Mom. You see, listen, y'all. We talk about she wants to have people, so she ain't got to call, blah, 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 blah. Well, you got to call people too.
This is true. But you said you were going to call me if you were coming down.
I did.
I assumed you didn't come down. And now I find out you did.
I did. And I got color too. Noticeable too.
You suck. But anyway, let's go.
So we got an awesome topic for you guys today.
Yes, we do.
This is actually one of my favorite things to talk about. Talk about breaking barriers, mastering the mindset for fitness. We in not just fitness by itself, but fitness success, because we can get the motivation to go to the gym. We can go online and get fired up with Goggins or Jocko or Steve Harvey, whoever your flavor is, and go work out.
Right.
But if your internet's not working and you ain't got nobody to rah you, what's gonna get you to go to the gym? So we're gonna talk about some ways and some secrets to success that can help you get there. Sound good to you?
Sounds good.
Okay, cool beans. Let me go over here. So let's talk about it. So, folks, first of all, if you like what you hear, like what you're seeing, like what you're getting out of this podcast that we have, please like, subscribe, share, comment, click the notification bell so you know every single time we post up. And we look forward to hearing from you for your questions, comments, concerns. But this week, we're going to touch on some things that I've heard from clients, work with clients, and actually, I really think that I'll be talking to myself during some of this. I'm sure that Coach Dale will be too as well. So, with that being said, here we go. Where's my screen? There it is over there. It's hiding. All right. So, first up, we're going to hit it right out the park from the beginning. Fear of failure and self-doubt.
Mm.
This is one
That's a real thing.
This is one of the things that a lot of people battle because they think that they don't look good when they go to the gym, so they're not going to go. Or people are going to judge me when I go. They're worried about what I look like, and blah, blah, blah. I promise you, nobody cares.
It's so much more deeper than that, though, Walter.
Okay, talk to me. What you got?
It really is. I was sitting here when I was thinking about our topic. I was thinking about what kept coming to my mind was I can remember when I was in I think it was the 6th grade, 5th grade. This was probably before your time.
Uh-huh.
But there was a time when you were in school, in public schools, they had the presidential physical fitness
Yes, this award. Yes,
right.
They finished that just before I was before I would have done it. Yeah.
Okay, so this doggone thing, and it wasn't something that you could get out of. Everyone had to do it unless you had a medical excuse.
Mm-hmm.
So you think about all of the kids who were forced to go out and do this thing, right? So you had to be able to run a mile within a certain amount of time. I think it was within 15 minutes. I think
Right.
it was. You had to do so many sit-ups, so many chin-ups.
Right.
You had to be able to climb up a rope in a certain amount of time and back down in order to get this presidential fitness award, which was a patch that you would get from the White House, right? And that would give you a part of your final grade, right?
Sure.
Oh, okay. So people like me who could, who loved, I mean, I used to play outside like everybody else did, ride the swings and all that kind of stuff, but was never able to pass that physical fitness test, was never able to do a pull-up. I was never able to do a pull-up, right?
Really?
I think I was able to get the mile within 15 minutes. And I was able to do, I think I was able to do the majority of the sit-ups, but climbing up that rope and doing the chin-ups, I was never able to do. So I never got one of those patches, right? And right then and there it starts. You weren't able to do this when you were young. So what makes you think you can do it when you get older? Right? And so that's a for me, or I can only speak for me, but I can only imagine those who felt ostracized, have been dealing with that struggle of
subconsciously
knowing
for 50 years.
You don't have to go into the years. We don't count years.
Well,
but
according to this, it started under Eisenhower back in the late 1950s.
Oh, wow.
And it was replaced in 2013 by the Presidential Youth Fitness Program. I put a link in the chat for anyone who's interested in taking a look at it. It's basically the Krauss-Weber test, and it goes through quite a bit of information. I put it right on Wikipedia, and where it came from, what the impacts were, impacts on mental health. It put a rise, like you just indicated, in body image issues, all kinds of stuff. So it'd be good for you guys to take a look, take a read. Just click that link right there in the chat if there's something that's interesting you.
Yeah, so
that's pretty.
I mean, that was something that was,
yeah.
I mean, it was something that your PE teacher would would be just like on you if you didn't pass it, right? And I don't know if it was some implications to the PE teacher if students couldn't pass it or anything like that, but it was a way of separating people, those who could versus those who could not, and it follows you all the way through school, and yeah, it did a lot of caused a lot of self-doubt.
It can do a lot of stuff, especially for a young kid who if they were a little bit overweight and not able to accomplish these tasks, if they didn't have a strong family structure or have other folks around them who supporting them, I can see how that can severely impact you mentally. I mean, I
So
get that.
yeah, with somebody coming in with that, maybe not even being aware of
Yeah.
that, but just the idea of having to go in and start exercising and start, trying to get yourself physical fit, it can be
Mhm.
triggering for
Sure.
some, depending on the coaches that the personal trainer that you end up with.
Mhm.
It could be triggering if somebody is making a point to outshine you in the
Yeah.
gym, you know. Um, it's just so many dynamics that a person that has been never been super athletic or always had a desire to be athletic, but never could get it all together to become that person, right?
Mhm.
Um, it can be challenging.
Absolutely. I wonder, before we get too far off topic here, I wonder, how many people in America in that cohort of kids who I guess to be in their mid early 50s to mid 60s who had that type of severe trauma. You know, as you look at our population in America right now, those are the ones that are most in trouble,
Hmm.
health wise. So, I think there's something to be said about that. Yeah, and I guess that would just be a peripheral issue with having negative connotations to exercise and fitness, but it could definitely have caused some lingering mental issues or angst at the very least to fitness, because then you get the unrealistic expectations about how you should be when you're in the gym,
Yeah.
and you have to be perfect or else people are going to judge you.
Yeah.
If you don't complete the reps like your coach or the app, whatever you're working on, says to do, how that can severely impact you during your workout. And I guess that kind of leads us to this next thing is perfectionism when it comes to fitness. It is one of the goals, sort of. And I say sort of because each rep or each exercise that you perform, each rep that you do now should be 1% better than the one you did prior.
Hmm.
I think Will Smith had an analogy. He and his father were building a wall in the back of his house in Philadelphia, and he said
Hmm.
that he wasn't a mason, nothing. He's building a wall. I think he said something to the effect of, "I am not a bricklayer. However, this one brick I'm going to lay as perfect as any brick has ever been laid. But then the next brick is going to be even better than the previous brick." So the same thing goes with your fitness or probably anything else in your life is that one thing that you do
Hmm.
today, tomorrow, how can you analyze what you did yesterday or last workout to make it that little bit better this time?
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I've been dealing with that with the workout apps,
Mm-hmm.
because there's when on my scheduled app I have to do the lower and then I do the upper.
Right.
And on the lower, it's a lot of squats, but then at some point you got to get on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to do what is it called when your back's up and your knees up? Um
Dead bug.
no, no, no. Your feet are planted on the ground,
Uh-huh.
but you're lifting your pelvic up.
Oh, hip thrust, glute
Hip
bridge.
thrust, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're doing the hip thrust, right? And then you've got the one-legged hip thrust for each leg, etc. And then you got to get back up and you start all over again, right?
Right.
I noticed that when I first started doing that, when I would do the hip thrust, finish it, it would give me 30 seconds
Yeah.
to catch my breath, and I got to be back up so I can
Yep.
start going again, right? Well, I
Yep.
can remember when I first started doing it where I would just pause it because it was going to take me longer than 30 seconds. Initially, I used
Mm-hmm.
to get mad at myself because I'm trying to jump up and I know I can't jump up like that, right? But not without
Mm-hmm.
having some kind of pain. So I had to learn to just kind of pause it, give myself the time to get up, to restart it again, which
Right.
gives me a sense of accomplishing and not getting behind
Mm-hmm.
on the app, or just like giving up and saying, oh, I just can't do this. So I've learned to give myself grace in that regard, right?
Yes.
But I also know that they only give you 30 minutes, or 30 minutes. That would be great. 30
Yeah.
seconds, so that you can keep your heart rate up, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I keep that in mind too, because I don't want to let my heart rate drop back down and then
Well, I
go back
also only
up.
limited the 30 seconds because I want you to get just in a place where you, whew, and then you're cranking right back up.
Exactly.
That's why I thought about that 50, 60-second rest in between. But by the time you're doing the workouts, are able to workouts that we're doing here, you want to keep that thing cracking.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's cracking. So but I will say, I don't have to pause it anymore. So
Well,
now
good.
I'm at a point where it tells me 15 seconds. I know now I got to start getting up and getting ready to start
Put off that floor. That's right.
floor and start
Good.
running.
See,
So,
it's
I mean,
those
those
wins.
kinds of things that you have to tell yourself.
That's right. That's a milestone. We talked about milestone success before. That's a
Mm-hmm.
measurable, sustainable milestone that you can keep using going forward. And you can clock that as a win every single time. That's
Yeah.
good. That's
But I
great.
wouldn't have gotten there if I didn't give myself the grace to get there.
Mm-hmm. So we
So,
know that also, if you put too much pressure on yourself to be perfect, it can
mhm.
also make you get frustrated
Yep.
or lead to frustration. It won't make it. It'll lead to frustration because you're not getting something right. And so seeking that perfection is important, but understanding that you're still a human being and you have time to get it right. So take your
Yeah.
time. It's not a race. This is a journey. This is a
Yeah.
lifestyle. You're not trying to cram this into a final exam or writing a paper. You're literally setting yourself up for life so that you can make those incremental changes day by day, step by step, so that as we reach the twilight of our life, we have a valuable life. We can do stuff. We don't got to lay in a bedpan wondering what could have been and what would have been. We can actually just handle our own business accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. But it's just, for me, it just, that overcoming that mindset of not
Mhm.
being able and not having the body to do exercises.
Sure.
I had to give myself grace and say, you do have the body
That's right.
to exercise. It may not look like the way your body or somebody
That's
else's
right.
body exercises, but you do have that capability. Now, you're not going to be able to do a pull-up. I mean, although that's still one of my goals,
And it should be.
to be able to do a single pull-up, because I
And I
always
think
think,
that's a realistic goal.
is that a realistic goal?
That's not unrealistic at all. Like listen, last Monday after the
Mhm.
podcast,
Mhm.
I bench pressed 500 pounds.
Right. How long had it been your goal, though?
3.5 years.
Okay. But
Three and a
this is
half
the first
years.
time
3.5 years.
to get to 500.
Never in my entire life I think I was to get there. But in 3.5 years of training, it took me to get there.
Wow. 3.5 years.
There is no instant gratification in fitness. It does not exist.
That's important.
And ladies and gentlemen, I promise you that anything that you're doing in your life, whether it's personal, whether it's work related, whether it's fitness, it's gonna be damn hard.
Yeah, for sure.
The harder it is, the less that anybody else is gonna be at the end doing the same thing that you're doing. So it's important that you recognize that if it's hard, it's okay. It's okay for it to be hard.
You just went to mute. Okay.
Yeah, not now. I think that a lot of folks don't understand that how social media, the internet, and TV and stuff, it really has screwed us up just a little bit. Okay.
Anyway.
If I want to order my entire grocery list Before I had to get my ass in the car. First, I had to write the list.
Right.
Then I got to drive to the grocery store, get everything I need to get. Don't forget nothing because I'm not coming back because it's 30 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
Put stuff in the bags, put in the car, get home, unpack, then realize, shit, I forgot the toothbrush. I forgot this. I'll get it later on this week. I'll stick out this broke ass toothbrush for the next 20 minutes. Next week, 2 weeks, I go again. Now I can go right on Instacart, click through everything, and then there's a reminder. The last time you bought a toothbrush was 3 months ago, and it's going to recommend that you buy a toothbrush.
Yep, that's true.
And then the groceries just show up at your house in hours.
Yeah.
You have to go nowhere and do nothing.
It promotes a sedentary lifestyle. Yeah.
But the instantaneousness of how it happens, that is what changes. We think that we can get the 6-minute abs approach to life, and the shit just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It literally took me, I've been training with Angelo for 8 years this year. 8 years we've been training together. Before then, I was able to do 400 pounds, 425. That's it. But then when I really said I want to hit the 500, that's about 3.5 years ago. I'm gonna get to 500. I'm gonna get to 500. And 3.5 years.
3.5 years. Wow.
Bands, blocks, chains, supersets, cables, dumbbells, flies, the same exercises in rotation for 5 weeks at a time on a cycle, every single week, every single month. How many people in the world can bench press 500 pounds? I don't know. Let's see. How many people can bench 500 pounds in the world? It is estimated that less than 0.0001% of the world.
Wow.
Control, copy. Let's see. What does that mean in English? There are 8, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's 8.2 billion times control victory. There are around 8,200 people in the world that can bench 500 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm one of them.
One of them.
Took me 3.5 years to get there.
3.5 years. Wow. That puts a lot of things in perspective, Walter.
Right?
It really does.
So don't discount the water in the rock. You know, I talk about that a lot when I first start a new client. Is I can crash diet you, and you can lose 15 pounds in a week, but you'll be miserable, and it's not sustainable. You're gonna gain it all back next week, right? Yeah. But if we imagine a rock and we just drip a drop of water on it every single day for 6 months, the rock is gonna break in half. And it's just like how our bodies work and how our brain works and how any huge task that we have to have happen work is those itty bitty constant things work. I think Denzel said motivation gets you started, consistency gets the job done.
Yeah.
So being consistent will help you overcome the idea that you have to be perfect, because practice and consistency doesn't make perfection, it makes confidence that you're doing it the right way. You understand what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
All right, we're gonna move forward a little bit. Let's talk about some strategies for building mental resilience. How do you make yourself do something or stay dialed in? What are the steps that you take to do that?
I think well, so I had different strategies depending on where I was living. So when I was in Bowie, the strategy was basically to sign up and get a personal trainer. So I did that, which helped me to, you're spending your money, so you're going to be there, right? But once I relocated over here, my new strategy or my new challenge was going to be, how do I remain tapped in to this lifestyle that I'm trying to truly bring embrace and just make it into my life, right?
Right.
So that meant, in order for me to do that, I knew I had to be in the environment of people who work out and people who are doing things to make themselves physically better, physically happier, et cetera, which meant I had to come to the gym.
Yeah.
Which meant I had to make that commitment to myself that I would come 3 times a week.
Right.
And so in order to do that, that meant I had to get up in the mornings. I had to get myself in a routine where I just did not have to second think what I was going to do that day. So I know on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, I'm up by 5:30. I'm starting my routine of getting myself together and looking to walk out the door between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. And it has worked for me.
Okay.
Yeah. You've convicted me a little bit with your last posting about the rain, and even though it's raining, you don't let that stop you. And I sit there and I thought about that, right? Because when I woke up this morning, it was raining. And I was like, well, if he can do it, I can do it too. It's my life, it's my lifestyle. I'll just take my time going up. I won't be doing 80 miles an hour getting up that highway this time. I'll stick to the 55 and put it on cruise control and just
that's it.
Go on up, right? And so
and I post those things obviously to convict people and to tell them that it does not matter, that if you can do it, I can do it. I can do it, you can do it. But it creates the expectation of myself too, right? It makes me have to do it. It makes me want to do it even more because I don't want to hear people talk about, oh my God, Walter, I got so much to do. I was up at 3:10 this morning on my spin bike, doing my faster cardio. And it was hard because I did not want to get out of bed this morning. But part of the expectation that I have for myself is I'm willing to do the things that no one else is willing to do because I want to get the lifestyle that no one else is willing to get. If I wanted average, I would do average. I want extraordinary, I have to be extra.
Yeah, that's funny because you're striving for a certain lifestyle, but when I see you as a person that's living that lifestyle that I'm trying to get to. So there's different levels, right?
That's
Everybody
right.
has different levels of what they're trying to achieve, and some people just want to incorporate exercise in their lives. Nothing structured, just making sure they do something, right? And then there's others who have the feeling that they want to incorporate it and make it into a lifestyle. For me, I want to make it into a lifestyle. That movement is always a part of my life. And so in order for me to get there, because it wasn't, I mean, I'm talking, 30, 35 years.
You was a softball player when you said a couple.
That was true. But that's when
that is movement. Playing catch and throwing that ball from that one knee to second base. Listen.
Yeah.
I'm pretty in shape. I ain't throwing no baseball from one knee to second base. It ain't happening.
But you're missing the point. My point is that, I did play softball. I did that for social reasons, not to get into shape. And once I realized that in order for me to be able to move up in corporate America, I had to give up some of that lifestyle so that I could work extra, travel when I had to travel, work longer hours to be able to move up that corporate ladder that I wanted to get up. And I did, but it was a sacrifice. Of
course. And you're willing to pay it.
Looking back now, I should have never given up. But, when you don't know, you don't know.
Well, you sacrificed to go on a corporate ladder and then to make a change to work for the government. And lo and behold, look how things turned out now.
Yeah. I sat on my behind for 35 years for anywhere from 8 to 12 to 14 hours max doing work. And it wasn't until I think 2 years ago,
Right.
every once in a while, because come on, every organization has these employee fitness programs, and they do all of these different.
Not like ours. Hashtag butterfly effect, corporate fitness, and corporate wellness. Go to the website. Anyway, keep going.
Okay, okay, good. Keep plugging yourself in, man. I appreciate that. But it was like, they would do like well, I can only speak to what we did at Goddard, right? So at Goddard, we would have a what do you call them, a marathon, but it was like a 2-miler run through the campus, or you can walk through the campus. And then, we had our own little gym, but it had limited equipment and that kind of thing. But, there wasn't, it was just there. So you only saw the jocks, people you knew that were jocks when they were young. The folks that you knew who passed the presidential exam. They were the ones that were going in. Everybody else wasn't doing that. But, I think it was when I started working out with you, or maybe a year before, I started to walk in the evenings around the campus as much as I could. And, and then once, the pandemic happened, then I was stuck in my house, and then I would walk in my neighborhood, but I would only walk like during the lunch hour, because I'd have that opportunity to break away to do that. But that was like only during that time, because when I was in the office, I didn't have a lunch hour.
No. You work for the government. You work for the government. How you didn't have a lunch hour?
Because I would be working during my lunch hour. It would be it could be a meeting where I'm bringing my lunch with me and I'm trying to eat, but I'm still working.
Okay.
Or an employee would need something and I'd have to meet with that employee. So I'm grabbing something to eat in between, never sitting, relaxing and eating, always on the run, on the go, eating.
Yeah, that's never good.
No, it's not good, but it's what I did, I developed, and how I ended up managing the time, but the bottom line is that, you just got to build it in your lifestyle, and you just have to start small with the smallest things. For me, it was walking around my neighborhood, and then it's just slowly been increasing as I've gotten older, but it's also been even more challenging as I've gotten older.
Well, that's, that is definitely part of it, because we're going to tie this section. This is a perfect tie. It's you set a small thing for success, and that was just the movement and just the walking. Those are things that we can all do, even if it's doing 10 squats every hour. You're not going to break a sweat, but you stand up from behind your desk, let the people around you think you crazy, and then they're going to join in eventually. You stand your butt up. You do 10 squats. And when I say squats, get that butt down like you're sitting on a hole in the ground. No little half squats. Squat that butt down. Stand all the way up 10 times every hour in the hour while you're at work. Make it a whole thing. Get a little bell and a gong. Boom. And everybody in the room stand up and do your 10 squats and then sit back down. Because you know what? After people see you doing it, what are you doing? Well, I need to work on my movement. I know I can't get up and go outside and walk 30 minutes. My coach told me a review on Harvard Medical Review that said that doing 10 squats every hour on the hour for 8 hours gives the same caloric burn rate as walking for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So get up, people. Do your 10 squats every hour on the hour, all the way down, all the way up. And you have no excuse. But that is very important, Dale. I'm glad that you shared that experience, because a lot of people think that they have to, I need to go in and go work out, ball to the wall right away. No. I have clients now who if we try to start with a lot more intense and more difficult workout regimen, they run away after one day.
Yeah.
You know, we need to ease people into it, give them the things to start that they can actually do, build some success with, and then build on it.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's okay. I walked a mile. It took me 35 minutes. But the 2 weeks later, I walked the same mile. It took me 31 minutes.
Yeah.
And then 25 minutes. The next thing you know, you're walking 2 miles in 35 minutes instead of 1 mile.
Yeah.
So while you didn't increase in distance, you did increase in the time. Excuse me, did increase in time. You did increase in the distance traveled during the time, and that
Yeah.
is a measurable victory that you can have and you can document. So that's good.
Yeah. We all have, just the one thing I just keep telling myself is just keep going, Dale. Keep going. Even though I feel the little pings and pangs
Mm-hmm.
of my body being challenged,
Uh-huh.
I keep telling myself, keep going, Dale. Just keep going.
And that is the key.
Yeah, I know it's the key, but sometimes it can be really frustrating.
Oh, I know.
But you have to just, your mind has got to tell you,
Mm-hmm.
you just got to keep going. You just got to keep going. And it's so funny because I talk to other people and they're like, oh my God, Dale, you're doing so great. You're inspiring. And then I look at, that's what they're seeing.
Right.
But what I'm seeing is this girl is still struggling and still trying to get to a place where she thought she'd be a year ago.
That's right.
And I'm still not there. And so I have to put that in perspective, especially I think you just sharing that it's taken you 3.5 years to be able to lift 500 pounds. That's a game changer. No, for real. It's a game changer. It's a game changer for me.
Mm-hmm.
In that, my expectations have been, I've got to really sit down and look at my expectations now because for you to say it's taking you that long, and I know how diligent you are in, you're exercising. As much as I watch you sit there with your clients in the gym and your patience with them all, and you're going through most of the day, you're already tired.
And it be look, and it be, that patience be this thin though. It is raining outside. Look, it is raining outside. The tensile strength is real weak these days. It's real weak.
It's only because you're working out too. So I mean, but that's admirable because I'm sitting here thinking, wow, this man has, got all these people. They come in, sometimes, most times, they're like, "Hey, coach, how you doing?" Do I have to? Why do I got to do that? I don't want to do that. Do I really have? I try not to come in there like that anymore because I've watched that so much. But my point is that after you've got to get these people's moods lifted, get them to a place to where they can believe that they can get something done, do it, feel good about the fact they got their workout in and doing this all day. And then you have to turn around and motivate yourself to do your own and to get it done.
Well, it ain't motivation, y'all. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It ain't motivation. It is the discipline. It is because ain't no motivation making me do it today.
The rain ain't nothing making you do it today. The rain's not helping. The mood of your clients aren't helping.
Tell you right now, I'm telling lock this door. Get me one of the mats off the back right there,
and knock out for it.
Oh shit! But no, I think that's very important. You really hit the nail on the head, and making sure that you have a plan. This is one of those things that we talked about before, is making your plan for movement and making it a realistic thing that you can actually do every single day or every other day, or whatever your thing is. You got to be able to do it. That's so very important. A lot of people miss that, and I'm not sure that people don't see how talking yourself through it in your head. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done. and then executing it, and how that can help you so much just by seeing what you're going to do and then going to go do it and then cheering yourself on after you got it done.
Yeah.
Say right now, I'm so tempted to sign everything #500. So close. I didn't do it yet. It's coming.
You need to do it. You need to go ahead and do it. Let's go. You got to do it. Let's go. But I will say this. You got to do it, Walter. You got to do it. You got to do it. That's all I'm gonna say. You got to do it. But you know, I think the other important piece is, you know, when things don't go as you plan,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and resiliency has got to be able to kick in for you, right?
That's
So
right.
I'm sitting here thinking, okay, gosh darn it, today wasn't planned for me to be home. Today was planned. I was going to be up there. I was on my way out the door.
Right.
When stuff started hitting the fan here that made me have to stay here. But now in my mind, I'm already thinking, okay, so I've got to go up to the gym tomorrow. I've got to. So just go ahead and make that happen because I got to get on the beast. That beast is my goal, is to be able to be on that beast at a level 2 for 30 minutes. That's my small goal. I'm still at level 1 for 30 minutes without stopping. Now I want to make my goal a level 2 for 30 minutes without stopping, and then move up to an hour.
Yep, on level 2. Or level 3.
No, go back to level 1.
Oh no.
For an hour. That's 30 minutes longer.
Stay on level 2.
Stay on level 2?
Yep.
That's why I can't tell you my plans, bro, because you mess them up every time. But that's okay.
It's all good. No, I'm just, you know.
Why are you saying no?
I'm enhancing them. I'm enhancing
in my mind,
them.
I'm thinking.
I'm enhancing your plan. I'm just enhancing them.
Okay, enhancing my plan. I keep thinking you forget how old I am. But I don't think you really care. I don't think you really care because you're like, your body can do this.
I turned 47 in August. 47. Woo. I'm old, y'all.
Yeah, you're getting up there. You're starting to join the crew.
Yeah, I know.
You're getting close. You're getting close, but you're not quite there yet. You're not quite there yet.
So we're gonna move into our third section here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and talk about consistency. We talked about, you know, making the goal. We talked about sticking to the goal, but making sure that the goal is specific, it's measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So let's make sure we get that spelled out right. It's called a SMART goal. It's specific, meaning it is an exact thing. I'm going to do 1 hour on the treadmill on level 2. It's measurable because level 2 is different than level 1, different than level 3. It's achievable because you can do it. It's relevant because it's part of what you're doing and part of your journey. And it's time bound, which means you have a specific time frame in which you want to get this thing accomplished. So I want to do 1 hour on the treadmill, on the Stairmaster rather, and I need to be able to do that no later than June the 30th. So we know that you have to be up to that amount of time. So each week that you're on the Stairmaster, you got to add in 2 more minutes, 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 until voila, you're at an hour. It's just that easy.
You know what?
Yes.
That's achievable.
I know.
See, I didn't think of it that way. I was like, okay, once I hit this 30 minutes for 2 weeks and I can do it consistently for 2 weeks, then I'll go on up. But you're making it bite-sized.
That's it. How do you eat an elephant? 1
small bite at a time. Okay, 2 minutes. I got to add 2 minutes. So 32 minutes.
And that's what it is. And if you can do that, even if it's just 2 minutes every other day, you'll still be there by the end of June.
So I'm already walking
30 minutes on there now.
So you're saying go up to level 2 at the end of the 30 minutes for 2 minutes.
No, I'm saying stay at level 2 for the entire 30 minutes.
No, you want me to go up to level 2, period.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So you started tomorrow, level 2, 30 minutes.
I don't, okay.
And then the next day,
In my
31
mind,
minutes.
I'm like, I don't want to say this out loud.
32 minutes.
Okay.
My mind's telling me no.
My mind is like, Dale, you know how you feel when you're doing level 1 for 30 minutes.
You can't, your body will melt. The level 2 ain't that much. It is not that much faster on level 2. Now, if you said level 3, level 5, level 7, okay, you're onto something. Level 2, not so much.
Okay, but I'm looking forward to that challenge.
But that's the key. That's the secret, right? That's the secret.
What's that? Looking forward to the challenge?
No, to have a measurable goal.
Oh, yes, for
That's
sure.
bound by time.
Okay. So, and the other part of that is share with your trainer what your goal is.
Uh-huh. So
that
he or she can hold your hind parts accountable to it.
Not just that, but perfect it. Perfecting it also. In a sense of, I might be off in how I'm trying to achieve that goal. And you just gave me another alternative where I can achieve that goal in smaller bite size versus what I was thinking of doing, which was waiting until I can get up to an hour on the level 1 and then move up to level 2
right?
for 30 minutes. And you're saying, no, just stay at your level 1 for the 30 minutes and then add 2 minutes at the level 2 and build from there.
You can do that. That'll work too.
It's just, oh, that Stairmaster is just.
It ain't that bad. It's your friend.
She's horrible. It's a beast. That's my nemesis, but I'm conquering it. I'm conquering it. I'm determined.
It's exciting.
It's exciting. It's never exciting when I'm looking at her, but I get it. It's exciting when I hit my 30 minutes and I'm ready to get off that bad boy. I tell you that. That's when it's exciting. Or when I'm at my last 2 minutes and I'm like, girl, you got this. You only got 2 more minutes to go. That's exciting. But just looking at it.
I feel you though. I understand. It's a monster. You know, for me, it's like drinking those couple of gallons of water. Like drinking my water is hard. Even having the timestamp on the bottle.
Yeah.
Even having jugs and stuff. The best way for me is to use one of these.
Ew.
Yeah, believe it or not, that's the case. You know, a lot of times we don't think about how we can be more able to attack our goals, and we can do it best by milestoning them. So I figure how my brain works when it comes to drinking a gallon of water. If I can chug half the gallon in the morning and then chug half the gallon at night, I win. However, when I'm training hard, like I'm going to do today in about an hour when my partner gets here, I got to drink 3/4 of this down before he gets here because I can't have a big stomach sloshing around with water all in there while I'm lifting weights. But having an important milestone, a quart. That's how I do it. That's how I do mine.
Yeah.
Some folks do one little sip. That's it for me for the next 20 minutes. I can't do it like that. I'll be peeing all day. I just got to chug it all at once.
No, I just use my little pink liter. I know I've got to drink at least 3 of those in a day. And I try to get it all drunk before 6 p.m. because if I don't, then I'm up all night. Which is defeating the purpose of getting plenty of rest. So you really everybody's body is different. So you gotta just learn the formula that works for you.
And that's it. And that's why I say everybody is different because everybody 2 words are different. So And another one small piece of that is also understanding your reason why for your personal fitness and your reason to do it. I know what mine is.
What is yours?
To know when I walk in the room that no one else in the room is stronger than me.
Seriously?
Dead ass.
That's your
dead ass.
Why is it okay?
It matters
Why
to me.
That's so important.
But it matters to me. Why does it matter?
But that's what matters to you.
Exactly. I don't have kids. I ain't got no kid to play with outside. Ain't nobody rolling around in the grass with. So I gotta have a different goal. My goal is when I walk in the room, I can look around and say, you know what? Yeah, there's one king dingling here, and that's me.
Okay. That's a guy thing.
No, it's not. Not at all.
No?
Not at all. Because, okay, there can only be one man who's strongest in the room. True. I can guarantee you this, and I will bet my bottom dollar that you have never met another man in your entire life who can bench press 500 pounds other than me. It just doesn't exist.
Very true. That's very true.
And because of that, I am who I am.
Okay. So what happens when you meet somebody that is like that?
Then I gotta get 501, huh?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You got to go up.
But you know, at some point in time, there is always something to keep striving for. So my next goal is 5'10", right? And then my next goal will be 525, then 550, then 600 eventually, right? You know, and of course there are some time constraints that go on with that because I'm still 46 and almost 47 years old in a couple months. So that does matter, right? Because Father Time in history of the world is undefeated. So, and since I'm an unenhanced natural athlete, there's certain restrictions that my body's just going to have because just what it's going to have.
Yeah.
So,
and so that's the same thing with the woman of my age.
Absolutely.
There's certain things that I will be able to do.
That's right.
Be able to do everything, or think I can do things that a 20-year-old could do.
And that's why I have you training the way that I have you training, so that you don't have to worry about doing things 20-year-old got to do.
True.
And I
always feel like I can do more.
What's it? In Rocky Balboa, his trainer told him, he said, "You need speed. You ain't got it. You need to get faster." The side of the question. You lift weights and lift weights and lift weights. You need to build hurting strength. Well, we need to build some hurting strength. That's why we lift weights. You gotta build some hurting strength. So, you know, but always remembering what your why is. We know that you have a grandson and we want to play with him and not be grandma in the wheelchair and a walker. We want to play with him. Have fun. Yeah. So there's your why. Something else interesting. Studies show that working out in a group or working with other people who are on the same mission as you of being healthier, being more fit, has tremendous additives to your results. So working out with friends, working out with partners, being part of a group or a team, that's tremendous. In fact, studies show that in the workplace, hint, 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 CDC says that teammates at the workplace have a 35% more efficiency ratio than when teams who don't exercise together in some way, shape, or form. So if, let's say, all the offices on the same type of workout regimen, workout program, and they're consistently talking about the workouts, they are 35% more productive than people who are not. That's crazy.
That is crazy. But I can see that.
You could get all your work done in 3 days instead of 2, instead of 5, rather. You can take off 2 whole more days because all your work's done in 3 days. Just by being just by working out together.
Yeah.
So that matters too.
It does. It does.
But so moving up to probably one of the most important things, at least in my opinion, overcoming plateaus and staying inspired. Now, this is a hard one.
It is.
Remember I told you it took me 3.5 years to bench press 500?
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
But
this is one of the things that you struggle with, because for so very long you'll be at the same damn place, whether it's on the scale, whether it's at a weight in the gym, whether it's on a Stairmaster, whether it's on a treadmill, whether it's running outside on your bike, whatever it is, you can get stuck in the same place. How do we overcome that? Changing how we do it is the best way, in my opinion. So let's say I'm going to bench 400, 500, 600, 600 pounds, like over 600 pounds. And I want to get that done in the next 2 years. What do I got to look like and be like to be able to get there? I got to weigh a certain amount. I have to have accomplished a certain number of reps over the course of the next 2 years. Look at my workout journals for the past 3.5 years where I got to 500 or 400. And how do I escalate that going to the next milestone? How do I identify the path? And then the different tools that I use along the way. Do I need to increase the reps? Do I need to decrease the reps, increase the weight? Do I need to do both? Blah, 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 blah. But when you're walking, when you're running, it's a little bit different. When you're walking and running, maybe instead of changing the distance that you're going, change the amount of time it takes you to accomplish the same distance, right? Mm-hmm. Or if the scale isn't moving, maybe your clothes size is changing, and we need to look at what your clothes size looks like, because you could be losing inches, which means that your body is making muscle mass. You're just burning through the fat. So while you could have a smaller waist, smaller hips, smaller neck, smaller arms and wrists and shit, but the scale still says 168. Well, it's because you have more muscle mass than you did before. We need to adjust what we're doing and adjust how we're measuring your health. So we're not just using only the scale, because we can get obsessed with the scale. So we can just obsess with this, obsess with that. It's best that we use all the tools to our advantage, not just some of them.
Yeah, that's very true, because me and the scale,
I know.
I try to not allow it to manage my mood.
Sure.
So I don't get on it on a regular basis anymore. However, I do know that my clothes have changed a lot.
Of course.
And I didn't realize that until I came to your graduation, when I had to figure out what I could wear.
What you was going to wear, because the shit was falling off.
I was like, what the heck?
Side note, go to Jack's on Main. Jack's on Main, people. Woo! In Smyrna. It's the bomb. Anyway. Celebrating our milestones, no matter how big, no matter how small, that matters too. We've kind of touched on that quite a bit lately. But having those small, measurable goals along the way, knocking those victories off, get you to the big yes at the end. In sales, we're taught that you have to get a client or potential target for a sale 20 yeses before they commit. Or if your doctor wants to get you to have your appointment on a certain thing, that have to be 20 questions and answers along the way for you to agree to the next date and time for your meeting. So you have to make sure that in order to get to your big goal, your BHAG, your big hairy ass goal at the end, you got to have a bunch of little micro goals along the way, and you got to hit them all along the way. Some will take a little longer than others, but as long as you're marking them, celebrating them, then you're good to go. And
that's part of the reason why I decided
part of that.
to get on the beast.
Mm-hmm. And add 1 minute every workout. That's it. Just add a minute every workout and you'll be there.
Yeah. But that's trying to shake up my body. I also think the other thing is that if nothing's changing in your weight, it's, you have to look at what you're eating, the portion size of what you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
You also have to look at if you're under medications, certain medications could also impact.
And stress.
Stress.
Lack of sleep. All the above.
All of that. Yeah. You have to look at everything to make those adjustments so that you can see a change.
That's right.
In your body. So I'm in that process right now.
No, I understand completely. We are all on different parts of our journeys, and celebrating each milestone along the way is vitally important. And a huge part of overcoming plateaus, at least for me, is I could always see me benching the 500. I could always see me back on the Olympia stage. I could always see me winning bodybuilding shows and positive meets. I could always see the victory. Can you see what your victory looks like to you? Visualizing your own success. Can you get a clear mental picture of what you're going to look like when you're able to do your 1 hour on a Stairmaster? Other than having a pool of sweat on the floor, and we get a mop so you can clean it up. Other than that,
for sure. God knows that thing got me sweating like crazy.
Right? Other than that,
I just look at it and I start feeling Perspiration.
You know, what are you gonna feel like? You know, is that something that you want to be celebrated? That 1 hour milestone. You know, how important to that is that to you that you want to do? What else can you add in? I mean, you got stairs at your house.
It's not the same.
It ain't the same, but it works. I mean, I've never been to the Burj Khalifa, but I can tell you this. I did a Stairmaster program for the Burj Khalifa. It took me 77 minutes, but I did it. So, you know, it's visualizing success, and I can see me standing at the top in the prince's suite, overlooking Dubai, and that's what it was. So, visualizing your success matters, and I think those are the big things. Challenging yourself, celebrating the milestones, and then visualizing your success are the three keys to that part. I think we're going to close this out talking about the power of a growth mindset and how that is relevant to what we're talking about today. So we're examining breaking through barriers and mastering the mindset for fitness success and also for life success. So think that there are three keys. One, embracing your challenges. Number two, focusing on your process over the outcome. And number three, celebrating your strengths. Embracing the challenges. I mean, that's the hard part. That's the sweat. That's the tears. That's the complaining. That's the yelling at Walter. That's all that stuff. I don't want to eat this broccoli and this asparagus anymore. Can I have Brussels sprouts, please? No. Stick to the plan. But I just want some lamb. Can I have some lamb versus that I'm tired of chicken? No. Stick to the
chicken and fish. No joke, man.
You know, it's about staying to the plan, embracing how hard it is, and then focusing on what you're doing, not necessarily what's happening right at that second for the outcome. You know, during the journey, making the sausage don't look like the grilled sausage with salt and peppers at the end, right? Making the sausage is an ugly, nasty, messy process. You know, first, you got to put some poop on some dirt to make the grass grow, to get the pigs to eat it. Then the pig got to eat the slop, grow. Then you got to kill the pig, chop it up, put it in the grinder, case it, and then season it. It's ugly. But what we know is, once it's on that grill and the smoke is in the air, and it got peppers and onions and spicy mustard and ketchup, and it's sloppy and it did take a long time to get there. But we're not worried about that part. We focus on the hard stuff in between that gets us there. Because we know it's going to be good when we get to the end. We just got to do all the right things along the way to get there. And there are certain parts of the transformation that you have to appreciate. You then begin to appreciate feeding the other animals that poop on the grass so you get good fertilizers. You got to feed them right so they can poop right, so that the grass grow right, so the pigs can eat the right. It's a process.
The bottom line, a growth mindset means you always put the word yet at the end of whatever your statement is.
That's right. I ain't there.
That's a growth yet. I'm going to get where I need to be. I'm not there yet.
Yes, that's right.
Which means it's not closed. It's open. I'm still striving. And it's good. Absolutely.
And then finally, celebrate your strengths. Everyone has energy and power somewhere. Being able to own the fact that you are great, and you are great in your own unique way, is important to your own success, and it's important to your longevity of life. So my hope for each of you is that you completely understand, respect, and love the fact that you can do all the things that you want to do. If you have a plan, if you milestone it, if you stick to it, your results will come. Just stick to your process and your plan. You'll be good to go.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be grandiose. It can be very simple.
Yep.
Very simple. My things, be able to do a chin up,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to get off the floor, Indian style.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my two major basic things that I really want to see myself be able to accomplish.
Okay. And for me, I'm not quite. Mine are different, but everybody's is different.
Yeah.
Mine is bench press 10.
Yep. To bench press 510.
That's
I also
it.
want to compete.
Well, that's coming.
I know it's coming, but I don't have that on as a major goal. I think most of my major goals are just to be able to do those simple lifestyle type of things
Mm-hmm.
that people do. Some people can do it with ease. Some people have never been able to do it. That's something I just have not done that I've always wanted to do. A pull-up, a chin-up.
Well, good news. You'll be doing it soon enough. I promise you that.
Well, now that my shoulder's feeling much, much better, it has not been giving me any problems, so I'm really ready to start challenging it more. Even after
Okay.
what we did last week. I
Uh-huh.
was really afraid I was going to have a hard weekend with my shoulder really bothering me, but it didn't bother me at all. I was a little sore. I was absolutely
Yeah.
sore, but it didn't bother me. So I felt really good about that.
Well, that's a good thing. It's just a small little setback, but you'll be fine.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I watched the WNBA and I watched the NCAA women's basketball, and you hear about all these great athletes who have ACL,
Mm-hmm.
tears. So many of them had that happen this year. And so I sit there and I think about how do you bounce back from that? How are they able to bounce back from that?
Easy.
And I think about it. It's a mindset. It's a
Kobe
mind
Bryant
game.
did it. Michael Jordan did it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. They're no
So
different than you and me.
exactly. They're still human beings. That's right.
Human beings.
And when we die,
Yeah.
we're all the same.
Yep. We all stop breathing one way or another.
Take away the flesh, take away the muscle in the skin, teeth in the hair. We all gonna look exactly the same. They ain't gonna tell us apart. So, well, good. Well, hopefully, folks, today we have helped you begin to break down the barriers and master your mindset for fitness and personal growth success. My goal each week and Dale's goal each week is to find subject matters that can inspire you to be better, that can inspire you to live healthier, but most importantly, become the best you that you can be. We don't do versions around here. We do actual transformation so you can be the best you. If you care to come to our facility, it's at 415 East Main Street, right here in Middletown, Delaware. Our website is www.bestindelaware.com. And of course, you can always give us a call at area code 302-278-4347. And we hope to see you here again next week. Please like, subscribe, share, click, comment, that, forward. And you can find the bloop over there or over there to follow our next video. And we hopefully will see you on the channel next week when we talk about something else new and exciting. If you do want to email us at info@bestindelaware.com. I think I'm making a new email address. Maybe we'll do podcast at bestindelaware.com for next week. All right, so this will be the last week, info@bestindelaware.com. Next week, we'll add podcast at bestindelaware.com so you can keep your questions separate.
Yep.
But for right now, thank you, everyone who's sent us in questions, who's asked us questions, who's been watching, who's been subscribing. We're up to 403 subscribers to the channel. We're chasing down 500. We're getting ever close. So please, if you know someone hasn't subscribed, get them subscribed. Take their cell phone, go to YouTube, find Best in Delaware, click subscribe, click the bell, hit the like, watch a couple videos. Let's keep it going, people. We look forward to bringing you new, fresh content each and every week. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
Peace.
Have a good one.